You don't have to try so hard. You don't need to kill yourself working for hours in the gym. You don't need to be the last person out the door of your office or your library. What you really need to do is realize one simple fact. And to be honest, it's a fact that I need to realize too. The fact is this: your life is worth so much more than any metric, KPI, or any kind of personal best. You see, these are paradigms that I think far too many of us seem to forget in today's modern world. You see, today, the collective consciousness, as it were, is riddled with immense levels of things like anxiety, worry, and just a general loss of overall direction. Now, what I feel happens as a result of this is a tendency, a human tendency for us to cling to an external force to get that guidance. After all, we as humans strive for a purpose, right? Now, is there anything wrong with that? I mean, I wouldn't say, not inherently, as again, it's human nature to want to follow example. But what happens when that natural tendency to follow example is threatened or exploited? What happens when a genuine interest in an outside opinion mutates into a chronic dependence, one that orchestrates your entire perspective and worldview? I feel like it's simple. I really do. What happens is a loss of self. It's a loss that's more demeaning, more destructive, and more life-shattering than anything you've ever felt prior or ever will feel in the future. That's kind of scary, right? It's definitely a bit alarming. I'm young. I'm a young guy. I've lived just 22 years on this planet. And in those 22 years, while I've only scratched really the surface in regard to the knowledge that this existence will hopefully fill me with, I definitely have come to realize some things. I realize that life is at its best when we make it simple. It's cliche, but they say life is about the little moments, right? The wind in your hair, or I guess lack thereof, when you're on a bike ride. The butterflies, festering in your stomach, as you muster the courage to ask your crush out on a date. Good luck if you're planning that, by the way. Maybe it's something a bit more peaceful, like the inner tranquility you feel when you're sitting in front of a still lake, if that's your thing. My point here is, if you are someone like me who thinks all the time, thinks about how to train, how to eat, how to read, just frankly how to do anything and live optimally, I strongly urge you to consider revamping the way you approach the world and approach life. Because life is not meant to be lived optimally. It's simply meant to be lived. Thanks. See you next time.